The views and opinions expressed on Beautiful Disasters are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their sponsors, or anyone else involved. Also, there is going to be a lot of adult language used on this podcast, so please keep your little kitties away unless you don't care about them that much.
Welcome back to Beautiful Disasters.
Woo!
We have a wonderful film to cover today.
A shining, shimmering star in the cinema firmament.
Yes. But to introduce us, in case you are just joining this podcast, Beautiful Disasters is a show where we talk about maybe some of the lesser known movies, cult classics, B-movies.
Things that deserve the limelight for one reason or another, whether it's a good reason or a bad reason or a what the ever-loving fuck reason, that remains to be seen.
Yes. And let me introduce myself, since I almost forgot on the last episode.
You were just too excited for the Devil's Express. It's okay.
I was. I am the Grutz.
Hi, Grutz. I'm Murphy. I am missing an organ, but I'm back.
Best kind of intro. And we have a lovely guest today.
Yes, I'm so stoked to have her back. Actually, she was our guest the very first time that I was like a fill-in co-host for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What an honor.
I know. It was, oh my gosh. And we did another musical then.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, my lovely guest, will you introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. From the long forgotten, because we haven't recorded in forever, apologize if you're a listener, deeply upsetting podcast, I'm Amy Bogard. What a treat to be back.
I'm so glad that you're here with us. I'm really stoked.
Me too. Thank you, I guess, for having me watch this film. Really wonderful.
When I hadn't watched it either prior to this, but the second I learned of its existence, I was like, I know who I want to watch this movie with, and it was literally you two.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It was a calculated choice. And I totally forgot that, the last time you were on, we did
the Fog.
We did the Bollywood film, which, of course, Bollywood movies, most of them anyway, also happen to be musicals.
Love it.
Which this one is.
Oh, is it ever?
But before we get into that glorious film, I just want to know a little bit how you guys been doing? What have you been watching? What's been filling your days with solace?
I've been catching up on things. Obviously last time we recorded, we main episode, we spoke about your epic journey, where you were just holed up for a weekend and caught up on everything over the last year.
Right. The fun holding up for a weekend as opposed to what I just did, where I was just sideways not able to do anything other than sleep.
I did end up pulling the trigger, and I got myself one of those Regal subscription passes.
I need to do that too.
It's like $21, $22 a month, and there are, as far as I can tell, there aren't any limits to it.
Oh, nice.
So, which is nice. And so I caught up on a couple things that I wouldn't have normally shelled out money for. I'm still such a barely fan at this point of Marvel movies, but I did see the new one.
Oh, I thought you were just going to be like, I'm still such a tight ass.
No, but I did see Cocaine Bear, and that shit was fucking awesome.
I still have not seen that.
Bad. We should go.
Yeah, we should definitely go.
Yes, 100%. Please do, because it is worth seeing. It is worth supporting. It's a perfect, accessible genre movie that has budget enough to be good.
Nice.
And it's well written, and Elizabeth Banks, badass.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait to see it. I also cannot wait. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see Creed 3. An unexpected thing about me is that I'm a huge Rocky fan, a massive Rocky fan. I have been my whole life. And the Creed movies, I truly love them. So we rewatched them last week.
How awesome. Recently have you seen the original Rocky?
Within the year, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I watch the Rocky movies a lot. Not all of them. I don't rewatch all of them. 2 is my favorite, so that's probably the one that I've seen the most frequently. But I'll rewatch 1 through 3 and then the Creed movies.
I totally forgot about how problematic Rocky getting into a relationship with Adrian was.
Yeah,
It was
it's
just
not
like-
good.
Bro.
I have a confession.
Yeah.
You've never seen them?
I've never seen them.
Murphy.
I know. Do you want to have a marathon and fix me and make me whole? With the Rocky movies?
After you can start having alcohol again, maybe, because they start to really like go off the fucking rails.
You don't want to watch
hard.
me be sober and struggling with what are essentially stab wounds. Well, trying to
I guess you'll
understand
feel
this.
Rocky's pain. as he's getting
I'll
beat
tell
to
you,
shit.
the only one that I would request that you watch on behalf of this podcast is Rocky 4.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think that's specifically
Absolutely.
the one that my partner was like, I'm getting this box set and we're going to do
Yes.
this.
And however, they recently released a new cut of it that mixed it up a little bit, took out some of the stuff like the robot and shit. Like, fuck you.
A robot? There's a robot in it and they took it
Yeah,
out?
it's literally the greatest 80s, one of the greatest 80s American 80s movies of all time.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Hot
Yeah, I
damn.
believe you.
Yeah.
I clearly need to fix
Yeah,
that.
you need to watch them. I can't wait for you to experience. I mean, Sylvester Stallone's writing is so beautiful. He wrote them, in case you didn't know that.
good.
And it's very funny. You'll understand this once you've watched all of them, but we were rewatching the Creeds because we were hoping to see Creed 3 this week. Didn't get around to it. But we were rewatching them, and, you know, Sylvester Stallone did not write Creed, but I do feel like they let him write some of his own lines because it's definitely got his Rocky-isms where Rocky will just go. He'll just keep talking because a lot of people in his life don't talk. And so all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, and that's how I feel and that's that. And I think that. And yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about that. And it just goes forever. And that happens a few times in Creed.
So what
I
you're
was like,
saying
this is so beautiful.
is that Rocky is a 5-year-old who boxes
Pretty much, yeah.
and tells stories.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he starts, like, he already has Boxer's brain damage in the first movie.
Right.
I mean,
And it's pretty clear.
that's fair.
And Adrian made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Completely.
It
But
did.
in any case.
You'll see. You'll
This
see.
is a whole other.
How about you? You've been on the mend. Have you seen anything recently?
I've been catching up on odds and ends. One of the ones that I'm really excited that I watched was a movie called Bound. That is just deliciously gay.
Are you talking
so
about
it is.
Meg
That's
Tilly?
on my list.
Yes,
Or Jennifer Tilly and-
Yes, so it is directed by the Wachowskis and stars Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly, and
God, they did that.
and they are super hot and super queer, and then there's like mafia tension. And
Yeah, it's like a gay heist, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's on my list. I've been
I
wanting
have
to
a
watch
copy
that.
of it. I will rewatch it with you. It is
Yes.
like I just was watching both of them and I was just like, oh my god, like I feel like I was sweating. I was like, I have to watch this alone. Like no one can see me sweat like this the first time I watched this. But yeah, no, they were really, I really enjoyed it. And I watched that with Heavenly Creatures, and then like I went back through and was just kind of cleaning up more odds and ends because I don't have a ton of energy yet, but like I watched Antlers and Skinamarink and We're All Going to the World's Fair, and my mom and I watched Last Night in Soho together. And she really enjoyed it, actually. So did I. But I also got to show my mom Voyage of the Rock Aliens because my mom was like, yeah, I'm just not in the mood for horror tonight.
And you're like, perfect.
And I like basically my brain either wanted to watch horror movies or Studio Ghibli stuff. And then suddenly I was just like, Mom, can we watch Voyage of the Rock Aliens? It's not a horror movie. And she was like, sure. And as we were watching, she was like, what is this and how did they get Ruth Gordon in this?
Oh, well, let me just mention, since you brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to save it to the end, but, we can re-mention it again.
Oh, we will. We will
This
re-mention
episode will come out prior to the Richmond GalaxyCon convention at
That's
the
right.
end of March.
Yep, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th.
And Beautiful Disasters has an evening show on Friday the 24th at 10 p.m. And we are closing the night with a fun time. This will be the third time we've done the con. And we are going to be riffing and doing that. But we're also going to be screening and enjoying and having super amounts of fun with Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
I'm really excited to share that movie with everybody. I think it's going to be a blast. And
Oh, yeah, big time.
encouraging people to dance. Yeah, actually Friday is definitely like my big day of the con because it'll be my first time being on the panel for Beautiful Disasters at GalaxyCon, where we show Voyage of the Rock Aliens at 10 p.m. And I'm also doing my first solo panel that I've ever done, which is called We Are the Queerdos, Mister, which is about, it's a brief history of queer horror movies or queerness in horror movies. And then, like, I want to have a discussion with everybody and talk about, like, where we see ourselves represented in film, whether it's overtly or just a character that we identified with or an actor or writer or what have you. So I'm really excited for that, and I'm really hopeful it goes well. And that's
Yay!
at 5:45 on Friday. So come be gay with me.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
What a dream of an invitation. Go ahead and take them up on that.
Yeah, let's be queer and spooky together. That's all I want. That's my whole life.
And that also brings us kind of to the movie that we chose for this episode, because what better to release an episode of a badass 80s musical before we screen a different badass 80s musical at the con.
I know.
And of course, we are talking about 1980s The Apple.
That's right. Also known as Star Rock, apparently, but I didn't find anything like...
Oh, yeah. There are a couple other poster titles in different countries, but this is a passion project produced by one of the founders of Canon Films, Menahem
Golan.
Golan.
Yeah.
Of Golan and Globus.
Yeah.
And yes, we'll get into, he really was passionate about this movie.
Yeah. To the point where the people that wrote it were really upset with the way that he kind of took things, apparently. Like the people that approached him were, it was Kobe Recht and Iris Yovats, or Iris Recht, you'll see her credited as well. And like, it started off as like, we'll do it for $3 million. And they were like, okay, that should be plenty for the vision that we have. And then he kept coming back and being like, I've gotten another $1 million. We're going to do this bigger. And they were like, what?
Oh.
So yeah. So before I ask you for like, I just need you to try summarizing this, but I just need to point out that this movie, according to the box set, happens in the glitzy, glittering, futuristic world of 1994.
Love that so much.
I do too. I was just like, that's a really random year to choose.
It is. And also, if you didn't know that was the year, when you watched the movie and you looked at the costuming and whatnot, doesn't it very clearly look like they set it in the year 2000?
Yes.
It's extremely 2000.
It looks like, it looks like it should be a lot further out.
Yeah, at least 2000.
It looks like the people that wrote Xenon Girl of the 21st century saw this and was like, yes, that's the costuming move.
Yes.
So, Amy, are you able, give us just a brief summary of what is this movie about, or what do you think this movie was about?
Oh my God. This movie was as subtle a Christian metaphor as a hammer to the brain. It's an Adam and Eve tale. The most important thing I think about this movie to know is that there's apparently a cut scene that's supposed to be a prologue to the movie that would explain literally everything, but it was cut. So there's no answers whatsoever until the end when everybody gets raptured. Okay, so it's an Adam and Eve metaphor. Again, very subtle. If you've seen it and you didn't quite catch that, so sorry for the spoiler. But it's an Adam and Eve metaphor of these two very folksy singers that want to make it big, and there's apparently only one big music label that also is the government and also is everything. And they want it to be on their terms, so they try and sell them. They make them do drugs and all that kind of stuff. And she gets taken in by them. He doesn't. She immediately is corrupted by these horrible people. He's trying to save her and go against the man, as it were, and just is beat to shit the whole time. But then magically, everything works out and they escape, and a bunch of people have a change of heart. And that's a terrible summary.
No, that is what it happens. It's just you're not able to tell it through a barrage of musical numbers.
There's so many musical numbers.
I love
and
it.
this is from a former musical theater major who is a big musical theater nerd. There's too many songs. There's way too many songs in this.
You can have 40
Just keep
songs.
singing and call it an opera.
You can have
Yeah.
40 songs in Hamilton and it works.
Right. That's exactly
You had
what we were
songs in
saying.
this that were just like, oh, that was added later.
Yep.
But no,
Some of the songs are long.
they are.
Yes.
Some are better than the others. But
Yeah.
no, yeah. So it is a really base sort of metaphor for the Garden of Eden and eating from the forbidden fruit, and sort of temptation and all that.
Oh, the initial thing that they wanted to make when they pitched this movie was 1984 with musical numbers, and then the
Ooh.
biblical allegory was added in after that. It seems that was the 1984 with musical numbers was the big pitch and what they envisioned as this project, as far as I could tell, and then they
I could see that,
definitely were just also.
but they brought
Adam
it to
and
the
Eve.
wrong guy,
Yeah, no, 100%.
who was just like, no, this is now my passion project.
Oh my god.
And it became so absurd and lame and brilliant at the same time, because it's like, how the fuck could this get made? Oh, the only reason it got made the way it got made is because the guy ran Canon Films.
And they took it serious. None of this is done in jest.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't oh, we're gonna do this because it'll be so silly. They were no, we're creating art.
Definitely.
This is going to be a masterpiece. This is gonna be the one, you guys. And I think that explains a lot about what we're seeing. And I think that also while that was a big portion of their downfall, it is also why I think we're revisiting it now instead of just bleeding from the eyes, because what we ended up with was this pure camp, over the top, what the fuck is happening, where we call horror's gore fest. This is a glam fest.
Totally.
I do
Right.
not give one single fuck about this milquetoast couple.
Yep.
I'm just why can't we just live in this world with the glitter covered drag queens?
Yep.
Why are you running away?
And why is this the bad world?
Right.
Fuck the hippies at the end.
Right.
They're going the wrong place. But
Totally.
Yeah.
in any case, so we've got a shinier, they're trying to take it more serious, as Xanadu kind of project here
Yep.
at this
Oh my
point.
gosh, yeah.
So what do we have? Yes, we have this couple that are a little folk singing duo, right?
Yeah, we open at the World Vision Song Contest, which is totally not a stand-in for the Eurovision Song Contest.
No, it's so different.
No, so it's so different in so many ways. Namely, that there only seems to be 2 acts.
Right.
The first one goes on for 25 minutes.
Yep.
It feels
The
like
second one is a regular song.
Yeah.
that's how the movie opens. It's it's a freaking 5-minute number.
Yep.
With 30 people on stage, dancers, big production value, and everybody's going wild for it.
Right.
And that is BIM,
Yeah.
Right. The BIM.
the BIM.
I rewatched chunks of this today, and it took me that long to realize what they were saying for
Me
a
too.
bunch of the songs. And later on, we'll get to this, but our Mr. Boogaloo of BIM himself.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of my favorite characters. But he sings a song, and it's you've got to be a master.
That song's
But
upsetting.
I thought he was saying a monster, and I liked it so much more when he was you've got to be a monster.
That's
and I was
so much better.
Yeah,
I
was
wish that was it. Or even bastard.
yeah,
Great.
Yeah, it's just, there are so many moments where you're what do they want from me? I don't know. There's still, okay, I'm blinded by the rhinestones, so I'm just gonna kick, I guess.
All you need to know is that BIM is the way.
Them is the way.
Hey, hey, hey.
It took me forever to figure out that was the line.
Me too. Me too.
It's only because I've seen this a bunch of times. But so they perform, they rock the house, and then this little duo, which is
Joan
BB
Baez-esque
it's
number.
BB and
Alfie.
and he's got an acoustic guitar, and I instantly hate his guts so much. He's such a piece of shit, lame ass.
Yeah, no, I definitely was like, what the fuck is happening?
And I get it. He's like, no, we can't sell out, blah, blah, blah. And,
He doesn't even say we can't sell out. He's just like, you can't trust the American music. Okay, well, that part's correct.
Yeah.
But no, but he's just the whiniest, most milquetoast dude. I'm like, how did this little angel baby end up with you? Like,
I thought at first that they were brother and sister
I did
because there's
too.
absolutely zero sexual chemistry between the two of them.
Right.
And then it's brought up like 30 minutes later that they were actually in a relationship after she's already made out with somebody else with zero hesitation.
So, which, by the way, and we'll go over the cast here, before we get too deep into it, but the only people that really had actual careers were Catherine Mary Stewart, who played BB, main role, the dude who played Mr. Boogaloo, and then the guy who ends up being like the leader of the hippies / God at the end.
Mr. Tibbs.
Everyone else,
Actually,
for the most part, like Alfie, the other two that were the rock star bin leads.
That's
Yeah.
not true, actually, because Grace Kennedy, who played Pandy, actually is like a pretty big singer and did a lot of stuff with the BBC. And she's since moved on to coordinate like big luxury weddings and other things. But like she had a good
Yeah, that's
like
not on
singing
IMDb.
No, she didn't do many other movies, but
That's
she
what I'm
actually
saying.
had like a singing career.
I'm sure they all did something with their lives, but
I'm not sure.
They
Oh,
weren't.
Miriam Margolyes, the landlady, also did a bunch of film and television.
Yes.
as she's a gay treasure.
No, she's been in a bunch of shit, even recently.
Yeah.
I saw her in something recently.
Okay, wait. Speaking of me not apparently understanding anything about human relationship from this movie, I also thought that was his mom.
I did too, till
until he
he
grabbed her
boobs.
titties.
Yeah.
And then I said,
Yeah.
Just the landlady, but still
Yeah.
he's grabbing her titties. I was like, what
she
the fuck just
bursted in
happened?
his room and started bossing him around like a mom.
And started cleaning, and then she
Yeah.
brings him soup. I'm like, what is your like rent agreement? No, I definitely was like, okay, Mom, wait, no, they're talking about rent. Okay, no, but she's cleaning for him. Okay, now he's grabbing her.
He's grabbing titties.
What?
This is a complicated situation.
And still, there's no chemistry between him and anyone. I'm just
absolutely.
like,
I don't think he's able to have. I think he's like smooth down there like a Ken doll. I don't think he has sexual chemistry with people.
Oh,
That's
I
fine
still
if
remember
that's his
like
jam, but just
okay, so at this contest, they're sucking hard. People are like heckling them, but apparently somehow the power of their love song gets people's interest once they calm down, so that
never underestimate the power of
so that
nostalgia.
Mr. Boogaloo has to basically like fix the contest so they don't get ahead. But now he wants to own them, and he brings them in like, hey, we want to sign you or whatever.
Come to our hedonistic party.
Come to our party. Here, have
Yeah.
a drink. And of course, Alfie's like, I don't drink. And I was like, you fucking asshole. You suck so much. And nothing against people that don't drink, but he just said it with the same way that someone who's really way too proud to be a vegan says
I
something
thought
like
the
that.
same. Yep.
And I was just like, oh, you're insufferable, bro.
He says he doesn't drink, and then we immediately see like his room full of bottles and
Yep.
stuff. And
Well, that's after because
he orders a scotch on the rocks. You don't order a scotch on the rocks if you've never drunk before.
Right.
that's later.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, but like later is in 2 days or what?
right. So yeah, Catherine Mary Stewart is the main character. She's the Eve in this. That's under temptation, and she wants to be a rock star, so she ends up signing the contract that Alfie really doesn't want to sign, and he's already starting to have visions and shit. But she's played by Catherine Mary Stewart, who was in Night of the Comet.
Yep,
and
that's where I know her
was
from.
the girlfriend from Last Starfighter.
She was also in Weekend at Bernie's too.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But she's great, and I got a chance to meet her at a con, and I have my one sheet poster
You
of this
fancy
sign.
slut.
Nice.
I love it. Yeah, she's looking really good for her age. Looks younger than
She's
me.
stunning.
Yeah,
God.
she looks incredible.
But so she ends up signing, and instantly she becomes a part of the Bim Band, and she becomes the lead star of the Bim Band after a short period of time. And of course, Alfie is dejected, and that's when he's succumbed to the bottle, I guess.
Singing to his landlady and other people that don't want to hear him.
landlady titty.
Yeah. And the scene where he takes one sip of alcohol and the landlady's like, after that suicide attempt. I was like, that.
Right?
He's a real lightweight.
Well, he did get the shit kicked out of him.
That's true.
So I think that was more of it, where he had like a drink, and then what was the bodyguard's? I wrote the bodyguard's name down.
Oh,
they
well,
were
there's two of them.
There's
and
two of them,
they both
and
have
their names
tusks.
are Bulldog and Fat Dog. And they just, like, picture Kingpin, but with upward-facing tusks. And they have Cockney accents.
Yes.
And I love this. But
They're
no,
heavy.
we're skipping over one of my favorite characters, you guys. Mr. Shake, played by Ray Shell. He is Mr. Boogaloo's like fabulous assistant. He is this very queer-coded black man who has a red and green gemstone on each of his front teeth and glitter out the wazoo, some of the best suits.
Oh, yeah.
And is just sassily going around and like being like, you'll do this and it'll be fine. What happens if I don't do this, they say. And he's just like, then you'll end up very dead.
I did not know that character's name whatsoever until
you
just said it.
His name is Shake, which one of the things I read pointed out that it very clearly is supposed to rhyme with snake, as he's often like in the weird flashes where we see Mr. Boogaloo dressed like a one-horned glitter devil.
Yes.
Love it.
He is also dressed like a snake, and Pandy has, a snake headdress and all sorts of other stuff.
It's beautiful.
The apple, you get it, guys? Okay,
So
fine.
subtle.
So he's the right hand to the devil, Mr. Boogaloo, who is very talented, by the way. He in his little walking press conference, he speaks like 4 different languages, and then he ends up owning all the reporters later. Like he's got this shit down to the point that in society, the little BIM.
The BIM mark.
The BIM mark, which people put on their faces in different places, is required. You'll get a ticket if you're not wearing one.
Right.
Holy shit.
I guess that's where the 1984 comes in.
I guess.
Yes.
You have to wear your BIM mark.
And they have every day at certain intervals, they have like mandatory BIM dance montage fitness hours.
It's ruled.
Yeah.
That
oh my
shit's
gosh.
awesome.
I was in hysterics because no matter what you're doing, you have to stop for the mandatory fitness hour. And this time, they used the song BIM is the Way from the World Vision contest, of course. And so you have people stopping, in the middle of eating, stopping their cars in traffic, stopping fighting fires, stopping with, I think, heart surgery.
Yep.
And then like all the prancing cops, like out of a Marilyn Manson video. And
I must have missed that one.
yeah,
There's
it's like,
a Marilyn Manson dancing cop video?
oh my god, the I think it's I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me. Like it's full of like pink cops making out and dancing.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Missed that one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
all right. Anyways,
Okay, we have to bring up the best part of the dance montage, though, is that, the heart surgeons stop and start BIM dancing as they must, but then the patient wakes up from sedation and BIM dances
right.
for 2 seconds and then falls back down.
yep, does 2 little punches and then just like flops over dead.
So good.
It was the firefighters like
The nuns.
pirouetting. Yep, the nuns.
I loved the nuns because there was a scene where there was a restaurant that was only the elderly. There were
Yes.
only old people at this one restaurant,
Yep.
and they hadn't showed them yet. And so I said to Mike, I can't wait until they show the old people dancing. And then immediately pan over to the old people like punching the air,
Yep.
dancing.
Hell
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Honestly, kind of wish I lived in the BIM society because of that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I feel like I start
give me,
dancing at random anyway.
Give me the shoulder pads. Wear the fucking BIM mark. I don't care. Like,
And
whatever.
honestly, they know how to throw a fucking party, too.
They do. Like I said.
God.
Truly. They've
those
got the
parties.
good drugs.
Yes, they do. Oh, my God. Yeah, I want to be in that party.
I'm probably
All
gonna.
the drugs were just horny drugs.
I mean, hedonism capital of wherever Berlin. This was filmed in, which I actually love even more because I feel like they just got like all of these like elderly German extras to be there with and be like, okay, now put this on your face and punch the air, and
Yep.
they're just like, all right, whatever.
Damn right. And of course, we have probably the best executed musical set piece with the Apple song, which
The
is
Apple's
which is it coincides with
The Temptation of
with
BB.
BB signing and becoming part of that whole world. and it's fucking awesome. There's like dog beasts,
Yeah.
and like a two-faced
and a
dude,
vampire.
and a fucking
Yeah.
vampire, and like people barely
really
wearing clothing.
Yep.
Really well done, Two-Faced dude. Actually,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
that was
freaked me the
surprising.
fuck out the first time I saw it. I had to pause it and be like, "What? Did I just see that? No, legit Two-Face." And yeah, and it's a pretty good tune actually. You
Yeah.
know? And Poison Apple, Juju Apple, Voodoo Apple. You know?
yeah.
It's
That
pretty
guy
good.
actually could sing decently.
Yeah, no,
like,
he was good.
his name. What the actor's name was Alan Love, and he played Dandy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Dandy and Pandy, and Alfie and BB. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and one of them went on to a movie career.
Yeah.
Everyone else this was their thing that they did.
What a claim to fame, though.
It got to be. Then shortly thereafter, so we've already talked. She goes, she gets she signs. She's in it.
Yeah.
Alfie is dejected. He's gotten beaten up trying to meet her.
But honestly,
you know.
fuck him though.
No, he sucks.
Yeah.
He's absolutely insufferable. And then he sneaks into the party, and
Oh
He doesn't
my
sneak-
God.
He just walks in and stands there and is like, I should go. And then Mr. Shake is like, no, come in.
he's like, "Where's BB? Where's BB? I'm taking BB out of here." And she's like, "Have you thought maybe
Yeah.
she wants to stay?"
Yeah, Mr.
Also-
Boogaloo is like, did you even ask her what she wants?
At this point, nothing bad seems to have happened to BB. It
No.
looks so fun. She's the lead in the show. She's crushing it. Everyone
Yeah.
loves her. She gets all the fun sex and drugs that she wants. Like nothing. They've shown no negative aspects to this.
Right.
And then, a scene later, she's lamenting how horrible her life is, and so is Pandy.
She does have her first video single, which we get to see, of course, the entire song because awesome, is called "Speed."
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's-
Speed's
The
great.
first line or two is about how drugs are bad, and then the
Oh,
rest
I didn't even pick up on that.
and then
I
the
just
rest
thought
of
it
the
was, I need
video is
speed.
literally like, leather daddies and and obviously all the drugs because of how they're going.
I flat out told I was like, we should recut this as a Judas Priest video and see if anybody notices.
You could,
Like,
legit, you probably could.
I 100%. I just have to say it again. I want all of the costumes in this, except for the hippie ones. I don't really care about
How
those,
has this
but-
not been put on off Broadway?
Because there's so many extras. I feel like we'd actually get like Rocky Horror type showings if there wasn't so many extras. And, and
Well, you
costume
don't need
changes.
to. I mean, you could adapt this for the theater. I mean,
You could, but it would have
did you
to
ever
be
see
good for that.
Book of Mormon?
Oh, I haven't.
Okay, so Book of Mormon had a few set pieces. Like there's a whole song that's called "Spooky Mormon Hell Dream" or something like that. And the
Totally
whole
not
the whole
a
stage
callback to
is
Fiddler on the Roof.
Right.
Yeah, the whole stage is turned into like a sort of hell scenario, and there's a Hitler in there and all kinds of stuff going on, and they could totally do that. I mean, they did it there. They could do this as a stage show. It'd be fucking
Listen, I hate to be a Debbie Downer in this situation, but I also feel as though I need to be a slight voice of reason. The reason that they haven't put this on off Broadway is that almost all of the songs suck shit.
Awesome. That is true.
So bad.
That is true. However,
They could revamp it. They could do a reimagining of it.
But then people would be mad. All the people that
You could
actually
keep,
love
you
it
could
would be
keep
upset.
the apple, and you could keep like a handful of others.
Obviously, coming. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh
Coming
yeah.
at
Keep
ya.
that. Keep
Coming
that.
for you.
100%.
Oh my god.
But some of these songs
Move
are
me and
just
shake me.
rough.
Well, anything
the Master song is very uncomfortable.
They just have to
True.
change that to monster.
yeah, that I feel like would be great.
Monster.
Anything that Alfie had to do with singing, cut that shit.
You basically just want to cut Alfie as a character.
Oh, he's awful. I'm glad he didn't have a career after this.
No, we just like. I think that things like Alfie are the reason that they didn't give Rocky any lines other than singing in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's fair.
Gotcha. Yes.
Because like, fuck Brad Majors too.
But so yeah, no, we get yes, and then we get Alfie at the party, and he wants a scotch and rocks because he's dejected and he's off the wagon.
I'm gonna
Good-
I'm gonna
good
have
for
a
him.
Scotch on the rocks, and Pandy is like, "No, you'll have my special concoction." And I was just like, "Okay,
And it's
all
like
right, girl."
obviously they
And
hadn't
it's
heard
green.
of roofies in this distant future of 1994.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. No, and if a drink that you never ask what's in it, you obviously chug. while watching a barrage of increasingly more fabulous queer-coded and drag-based characters parade around you, becoming ever more blurry.
And then we have my favorite song of the movie.
Holy shit.
We have to talk about Coming For You or whatever.
Yeah, it's just called Coming.
It's just called Coming.
It's called Coming.
So you sent me a text when I told you that I was going to watch it, saying, look out for the song that goes way beyond PG. And so Coming is like in the final third of the movie. So I'm watching the whole thing being like, what is it? I mean, these songs are bad, but I don't feel like any of them have been super inappropriate. And then that song slaps you in the fucking face with the dick. Like, it's so intense.
Yeah. They basically had, like, poor Grace Kennedy, like, she was just like, I'm a little uncomfortable. And they were like, you're not singing it as yourself. You're singing it as the character. And she was like, all right.
George Clinton said that to her because he's the one that did the music.
Yeah.
That is so
fucking crazy.
wild to me.
Yeah. Well, but it's not the George Clinton of, like, Parliament Funkadelic. It's another guy named George Clinton.
Wait, what?
I'm so sorry.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's another George Clinton. It's not like George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic. It's a white guy that like appears in the movie. I think
that makes way more sense.
Yeah, the songs would have been better.
That's why I was so surprised. Did not click on that Wikipedia link. Just saw it and said, George Clinton, I know him. This is just interesting information.
That's hilarious.
I had that same moment where I was like, I'm suspicious. I don't think that's the same guy. No, I think...
You're smarter than me. I don't know about media literacy, apparently.
I didn't write it down, but I think he actually plays one of the...
Oh my God.
The parts. Hold on.
So, all right, think of it this way. Like, this movie got way more money than it was ever designed to have. But it is still a canon production. So they probably picked this guy because his name was George Clinton.
No.
And he knew a little bit about...
He actually, like, does a ton of, like, writing and stuff. And George S. Clinton, our writer and composer and all that, was the guy who played Joe Pittman, the reporter.
Oh my God.
That later
that
joined
was
them.
the funniest part, that everyone has these fucking weird futuristic quote unquote names, and then they're like, oh, here he is, Joe Pittman.
Oh my God, he also did the Mortal Kombat motion picture? What? What?
Whoa.
What? American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt, another... What?
Murphy is coming out as the #1 George S. Clinton fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll have to look for him at
Okay,
the
we
next
got to talk
con.
about Coming.
Yes.
I'm fine. Okay.
So this is in the middle of this PG-rated movie. And I get it. It's the early 80s before PG-13 had come out. But this...
They already had a man in a thong. What you mean PG?
It's PG.
Wait, so... Okay, so I have to cover 3/4 of my butt, but this is PG. Mm-hmm. Thongs are PG now.
See, no, this, like I said, this is a different era where PG was a little... I mean,
They still update ratings and shit.
Well,
I don't know if they do from ones that are already
look at the
rated.
back of your box.
Look at your box, Murphy.
Look at your box and tell me what it says.
It does say PG.
It is. It was rated PG.
God.
I don't think the MPAA wanted to recertify this.
The MPAA is so fucking nosy. Like,
Throwing it back, I think so is the original Rocky. It's also PG.
Oh, yeah.
And there's
Jaws
like
was
massive
PG.
bloodshed.
No, I know.
Jaws was PG.
Gremlins, Poltergeist. Yes, I know the reasons for the PG-13 rating. We've discussed this on our other mini-sodes.
However, we get this musical number with a montage sequence of pure sex. I mean, this is like...
You mean they're not just trying out all the mattresses in the mattress store?
This is
They're
like
wrestling.
Eyes Wide Shut level of debauchery going on.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow.
And the lyrics are so explicit.
Yeah. No, it's not even like a double entendre.
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
straight up like, I'm going to come for you.
Yeah.
Make me do it.
A lot.
There's something about like getting all of your juices out.
It wanted to be a Prince song, but didn't have the
wild.
talent.
Every bit of your love.
Yep.
Every little bit of your love. Like,
Move
oh
me
my.
and shake me.
I told
Yeah.
Mike that one night that I'm A, feeling like a little rascal, B, feeling like I actually don't want to have sex, apparently. I'm going to be like, I made a playlist. Like, let's put it on. And then it's just going to be that over and over and over. The 5-hour loop of coming from the Apple. And then I want it to turn into a bit.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't make Murph cry.
This is how I die. It's fine.
That
I'm gonna start playing it at every turn.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be
God.
like that Paul Rudd, like Conan
the
long-term
Mac and
bit
Me
with
thing.
the Mac and Me thing. That's gonna be me with the fucking song Coming, because I will never be over it. I'm gonna start playing it at everything.
and see, the funny part is that you couldn't even probably show that scene on a talk show.
No,
like Paul Rudd did that
no.
because it's so rated R. Basically,
It's so rated R.
there might not be
I don't even
nipples.
see a titty.
I mean,
The lyrics, though, I feel like are so rated R.
I got to give credit where credit is due because the cinematographer and the blocking required
Yeah.
for there not to be a nip slip in that
Truly.
sequence.
Very impressive.
That's very
Holy
true.
shit. Because like even back then, PG, you could have a little nip here and there. And somehow they
Little
avoided
nip and a PG. That's fine.
like holy shit. And
You could have one little nip as a treat.
let's also be honest that she drugged Alfie and
Yes.
legit
Yeah.
Like date rapes him.
like
Yeah.
raped
And
it.
then
Yeah.
lets him go and then has like her what have I done? They're really in love moment. I'm like, wait, I don't understand where this transformation came from. Like, are you suddenly feeling bad about date raping people when clearly it's your special drink?
Right.
Like, you call it your special drink. So this obviously isn't the first time. Is it just because he said BB at the end of sex?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I guess it's better to grow a conscience at some point in your life.
right. No, I just was like, it was just all of a sudden like, she's all of a sudden like, BB, get out of here. It's too late for me.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you that I date raped your apparent boyfriend, but
So he has himself a wild ass party and he wakes the fuck up in the middle of a goddamn park.
he does, but he also hallucinates like or sees BB in bed with Dandy, and
yeah.
she's like, "Who are you?" And
Yeah.
it's all green and
yeah.
like-
But I think he did.
Yeah.
He does actually see it, right? Because then she was like, "Wasn't Alfie at the party? I feel like I saw him." If
yeah.
she was on,
I had
you know,
a
whatever
weird
horny
dream
drugs.
about- yeah.
Yeah, he was there, but so yes, he wakes up in the middle of a park with a dirty old hippie. Like, hey, you okay?
Hey, bro. Yeah, a dirty hippie played by Joss Ackland.
Ackland, yeah.
One of the
fucking
few people
awesome.
that has a career.
Oh, big time. He was most notably.
voice,
He's been in a million things, but like I remember him initially from like Lethal Weapon 2. He was the main villain, and he was the guy who was like, "I have diplomatic immunity," and then gets shot in the head.
I always think of him as Mustrum Ridcully and the Hogfather,
Yes, there you go. Yeah,
talking about the Veruca gnome
but he has a very recognizable face,
and voice. Like,
and it was hard to tell it was him with the dirty hippie makeup.
yeah, when it took me until his second character reveal,
Right.
which I also didn't put together that he was also the hippie until I looked at the credits. Because they don't have any sort of like transformation from hippie to his later character,
Right.
Mr. Tops, aka God, apparently.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
just
until right now.
Yeah,
I did not
he
realize
just-
that was the same.
Same
comes
dude.
from the sky in a Rolls Royce, but we haven't gotten there yet.
So
just-
yeah,
Love saying that line.
he's woken up by this guy, and the guy's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And turns out there's a bunch of hippies in
a
the park, and cops come to break it up. And I'm like, I don't like the cops, but I also don't like big bands of hippies because you can smell that shit from a long way away. So I was like, "Oh,
Quite a dilemma for you.
It
Grace.
is. I know. It's like, oh, I hate authoritarian forces, and I like freedom, but oh,
They looked really, really tame for hippies.
they did, and they were even described by the leader as like, they were lost souls from the '60s or something.
yeah, holdovers.
And
from
they
the
apparently
hippie
all
movement.
they run away when the cops come, and they all live under this bridge near the park.
They live in the bridge. That's definitely not the same cave scene from the Apple sequence.
Right.
And then they go to the park to repeatedly not get arrested.
Yes, and they're little flower children and whatnot, and at some point, BB has second thoughts.
Yeah, Alfie just joins them. Like, I guess he
Yeah.
like goes home.
He
gets
just joins-
shit and is like, "Yeah, I'll be a hippie. That sounds good."
But
He has nowhere else to go.
Right. But meanwhile, BB leaves her life of glamour and sex and drugs and
Fun.
fun and great dressed people and like
Yeah,
bad decision, BB, but whatever.
The Two-Face guy.
Because she's looking for
Sure, both
Alfie.
faces will miss her.
She feels bad. Feels bad for Alfie and goes to go meet him and with the hippies and freaking under the bridge. And she finds him and like instantly it's
and
like
the
a year
next
later.
Scene, they have what looks like a full-grown toddler.
I know.
And
but it's been
he
a
has
year.
a beard. Yeah, it's been a year. We don't know this until.
But the kid's definitely at least 2.
Yeah.
It's like, how did that work?
Just also like, did she just run off and they immediately conceived? Like I just immediately like
Under the bridge.
Yep. With all the other people and no privacy.
I think that
She's used to group sex. I'm sure she's cool with it.
I feel like that kid's probably not Alfie's. The only reason being is that it was really blonde, kind of like the other lead singer.
Dandy, yeah.
Dandy's probably Dandy's kid. And also, I don't think Alfie's sperm is capable of producing a child because he's that fucking lame. You know,
he's just milk toast.
Exactly.
His sperm are like, I don't know about this contract. I guess I'll leave you here.
Yeah, he probably like comes like skim milk. Like fuck that guy.
Oh no!
If I go the rest of my life without ever hearing that phrase again, it will be too soon.
That's unfortunate because you're probably going to think it every time I do my coming bit, which
Oh
is going to
my
be
God.
all the time.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that was unnecessary, I suppose.
I loved it.
So yeah, they're together. They're under the bridge.
No, you don't just get to go back to the bridge after saying he comes like skim milk. No,
See, I'm not mad because I don't drink skim milk. If you would have said he comes like oat milk, which I do drink, I would have had a problem with that.
No, but that's
It's
more
too close
that's
to home.
more like viscous than skim. So
that's
it can't
true.
be.
It can't be oat milk. Oat milk is far more virile than Alfie is.
The watered down almond milk of cum. I'm seeing stars from coffee. So. Oh my God. We've taken this to a dark place.
That's not our
No,
fault.
this movie did it for us.
This movie wanted to go to dark places. It wanted to be heavy hitting. And instead, we drove it to hell.
Oh, I love this movie so much. It's
Well,
so
we wouldn't have
stupid.
gotten raptured in the Rolls Royce. That's for
true.
sure. I would have
No.
been down with the Bims, like dancing during music hour or whatever.
Right. No, if they had tried to rapture me, I would have been like, but there are no shoulder pads in heaven. I don't want
You've
this.
got the wrong one. Leave me here.
No, I don't. I absolutely do not want to follow them.
So, okay. So a year has passed, strangely. They have a kid. And, you know, Alfie's got a big beard, which somehow still doesn't make him look manly at all. And then we have the standoff in the park where we got all the dirty hippies. And then we've got more, like a bigger police force this time. But it also brings Mr. Boogaloo and his...
Yeah, the whole entourage.
The whole entourage, they're lawyers, everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey... BB, you broke your contract. You owe us $10 million. And if you don't give it, we're going to arrest everybody here.
Although I guess I will say the best cut down happens right then from the hippie leader / soon to be revealed Mr. Tops, where he's like, oh, is that all? Like, he's so bored. And then like genuinely throws everyone off. And they're like, oh, 10 million is a lot of money. I don't, excuse me, this is a substantial thing. And sir, I don't feel like you're taking the right stance on this amount of like they're all just like bumbling now, and I'm like, this is it. This is the thing that takes you down, is suggesting that $10 million is nothing.
I would be lying if I said that I didn't kind of want to see lots of violence happen in that scene, but it didn't. And
No, but they had that great approach where they were all like tapping their triangle shields with their batons.
it was like, oh man, this is gonna get awesome. But no, it doesn't.
It could have been the Warrior Showdown of the Apple.
But then we have the big slap you in the face reveal, where the
You call it a reveal, but we didn't actually learn that it was a reveal. We just didn't see the hippie guy anymore, which didn't matter because they were all in a group.
Right.
And then a see-through car came out of the sky.
So the first thing I thought, yes, it was a fancier car.
It was a
but
Rolls Royce.
The very first thing I thought was like, oh, that's the fucking weird-ass translucent flying car from Repo Man. I was like, sweet. But no, it's really...
I was thinking about Grease.
Oh yeah,
True,
Yeah.
true. Of course, you've seen Christmas Evil too. The end of that, and
my
you're just like, what the fuck. In any case, as far as flying cars go, it's pretty swanky. It's kind of blinged out, and then Rolls Royces, and it's coming down. Then we got our God character, looking dapper in a white suit.
Yeah.
And he kind of has a tete-a-tete with Mr. Boogaloo, who is, and now there's no room for, any confusion.
Yeah.
This is God and that's the devil, and they've been playing out this, eternal game or whatever.
And this really could have been a musical number with like fight choreography.
Yeah.
And,
I know, right?
maybe like a rap battle. We had the reggae song with the master, maybe like a rap battle between God and the devil would have been cool.
Like queer tension moment between God and the devil.
Like a romantic kind of angry song. I like that.
Yeah. But
Betrayal.
The basic gist is like, you know what? I think this God is saying, like, I think this experiment is over and failed. So I'm going to take my chosen children and I'm just going to start it again. I don't think you need to be involved, devil.
Yeah.
Which sounds like an awful idea.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you ever want to go, like, live in some paradise where you don't get the good cocaine or the gay people? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like he didn't understand that BIM is the way.
I'm
sold.
I wrote down, it's a Christian scare film that celebrates everything it supposedly is against, while all of like the pure paradise stuff is boring and bland and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Produced and passion project by a gigantic badass Israeli genre producer.
Yep.
It's just like,
Yep.
there's so many layers here.
There's a lot to unpack, as the kids say.
But in any case, all the dirty hippies and BB makes a huge mistake. Alfie, go, dude. Who cares? But they all follow God into the sky behind the flying car, and that's the end.
Yep. They just walk off into the sky.
Yep.
And Pandy gets to go with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she had
repented and
she's
let
repented.
she had a repentance
never mind
arc.
that she had a rape scene immediately before that.
Yeah.
It's fine because she then let BB go.
I mean, isn't that so much the way though of like ask for forgiveness and mean it? I was raised Catholic.
I thought you were going to say ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Not permission.
Wow.
I was like, that is so dark. I'm not getting canceled on Beautiful Disasters today.
No,
I was just going through some Catholic trauma.
Oh, no, that's fair.
We all have it. Any one of us that were anywhere near that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not gonna. We didn't purposefully Catholic trauma you. This isn't the midnight mass of Beautiful Disasters.
Oh, so good.
It's amazing, but also,
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yes, that was the apple.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally, before I started this podcast, I initially found this through, oddly enough, an episode of Judge John Hodgman, where he has different people, like, I guess, phone in their queries, and he figures out their thing. And some couple, I guess the husband or the dude, whatever, really liked B movies and loved hosting B movie nights, which I had been doing for some amount of time before I started the podcast.
Yeah.
And, he mentioned this movie in that episode and that he had heard it in another podcast called The Flophouse. Good show. And by virtue of those steps, like, I acquired this, found it, and lo and behold, it is so much stupid fun. Like, how it even, got to screen, like, boggles the mind.
Oh, it's bonkers.
Yeah, no, they definitely had like the perfect storm I say perfect, but apparently it was riddled with like back and forth and like disagreeing with creative differences. But it was definitely just fueled into existence, utterly willed into existence.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the early signs that Canon Films maybe wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
Because they sunk a lot of money into this. I don't think they saw any of that money back.
Oh, I'm sure they did not.
If they are, they're seeing it now that Kino Lorber has put out the DVD and Blu-ray of the Apple, which is where I got it from.
Right.
I just got the Blu-ray from Kino, and I want to say they didn't put that out till like 2017.
I mean, it was owned once Canon went out, like MGM bought the Canon film library. I think Orion had it for some amount of time. It kept changing hands. But now we've got companies like Kino, Lorber, and even Vincent's doing some MGM releases, older stuff.
Oh, I'm wearing their shirt today.
There you go.
Happy 10 years to Vincent, by the way.
That's right. But this was I don't know. I just fucking love how insane this movie is.
Yeah.
I got to watch it on Tubi, which means that I had the pleasure of having jarring ad breaks in the middle of the movie, which is it will just rock your world to go from like coming and then it's like Rolaids. It's like, what? So upsetting.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm glad. So apparently at the time of recording, it's available to watch on Tubi with ads.
It is.
Yes,
So you can see this, or you can pick up an ad-free copy through Kino.
Yep. So all right, let's move on to. I mean, this is obviously a perfect double feature night sort of fodder. I've done this before. I've shown this in my house before. But if you were going to pair this with another movie, what would it be?
Okay, I want to know what you would.
Oh, I got a great one, and I have a whole thought process behind it.
Okay.
So I would 100% pair this with Logan's Run, and the thought process is that the world of 1994, when all the dirty hippies leave to go do their own thing, that world stays badass and awesome, like it should be, and eventually their society grows into the futuristic utopia of Logan's Run in 2274 or whatever year that movie took place.
Okay.
And I mean, that's a perfect society. Like you get to like, 45 years old, and then you just, you have ritualistic suicides. It's like fucking beautiful.
That's your perfect world. Great. Wait, Grutz, how old are you?
Yeah,
It's completely
Grutz.
I'm about to turn 45.
Grutz, I'm watching you. I'm fucking watching you, man.
Hey, if I start to get on the carousel,
No.
you'll know what's happening.
No.
Confiscate his copy of Logan's Run right now.
Unless we're talking about the fucking carousel from Something Wicked, which I still have worries about for you. Like, no.
No, Logan's Run's awesome. I mean, think of like you're born and for like 4.5 decades, you basically have
Grutz, this is a therapy session that we have to
hedonistic life, and you just have fun, and everyone's prancing around like kids. And yeah, you might not want to die at the very end, but like you had a good run, And I don't know. Anyway, it's a perfect utopian society, and I think it's the natural progression of how the world of the BIM world would evolve into
that I will give
a beautiful place. And who cares? Who cares about the heaven hippies? They suck.
Okay, cut the mics. Grutz, we're here because we love you. That's right. We have gathered here today.
I'm saying this.
And we're just gonna move you in with somebody after you turn 45, just to
It's coming soon. I'm old as fuck.
You're not old as fuck. Okay. All right.
Anyway, Logan's Run is definitely, and I would have to show it second to see the progression of society.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Also, you can't let people be tired and then break into the apple, because that's, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
Unless people are drinking through the first feature.
You would have to have intermission like cocaine.
I watched this sober because I haven't started retesting my body with alcohol yet.
Okay.
I'm currently excited I can still drink coffee.
Fair.
Yeah, sober was not the way on this one. This was not the
That's right. You said you had like a beer that you were nursing, and you were like, oh no.
Yeah, because it was a Wednesday night. I had to go to bed early for my stupid job. And it was kind of like a last minute, we realized we had to watch it because there were no other nights before today that we would be able to do it. And so it was just like, oh no, we have like 4 beers in the house. That's not going to be enough. Like it was like a triage situation. But it really turned into a thing because Mike has seen it before. And so he was like, maybe we should order something on GoPuff. Like but it was already 8:00. I was like, I'm going to bed in like 2 hours. Let's just put this bitch on. And then
Fair.
I don't think I've ever felt more sober, truly.
This would be hard to watch. Yeah.
It's painfully sober.
Oh my goodness. All right. So from your crystal clear viewing of this, tell me, Amy, what would you pair this with?
All right. Well, apparently I'm just in a little troll mood from this movie for some reason. So I have two, and they range from buzzkill to bummer of
Fair.
of double features. So if you're not quite sold yet on the Christian, allegory of it all, and you need like a little bit more subtle as a heart attack to get you there, you could watch Mother after this.
Aronofsky?
Yeah. Or if you are sold and you're like, you know what, BIM is no longer the way, I'd rather go with Mr. Tops, then you could follow this up with Passion of the Christ.
Oh my God.
Wow. The greatest.
You said that your choices were unhinged before you revealed them to me. You did not lie.
Dude, my brain's broken.
Passion of the
first
Christ
thing that came to mind
is the greatest and most successful exploitation movie of all time.
Yeah, no.
Like legit. It grossed $1 billion.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, it did. And I had to see it in the theaters with my family because remember how I brought up that Catholic trauma? I wasn't fucking around, y'all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rough
Family
stuff.
trip
I think I was 13 when it came out. I got pulled out of school. I didn't have to go to school that day. So I could go see Passion of the Christ in the
schools that
theaters.
showed this in class, you know?
Yeah, not my school. I went to a normal school, fortunately. I just didn't have a normal family situation. I've seen that movie so many times. It's crazy.
I have to tell you that my brain, when you said I was in a normal school, and I was like, so they denied you the queer experience of Catholic school.
True. Well, I ended up going to an arts high school, so I had a very queer-coded high school experience. I was a theater kid.
Yes. Yes.
We have to make our own queer family.
No, that's
we
true.
don't come from one.
Homemade is fine.
Fair.
Don't worry.
All right, Murph.
So I had 3, and I had 2 that I was going back and forth on before I arrived on the one. The 2 that, like, I want to throw them out just because I think that they're very relevant to this world. One is Shock Treatment, the supposed Rocky Horror sequel, because there are a lot of musical beats that heavily mimic Shock Treatment, and in Shock Treatment we're also seeing, like, all of it is shot in a quote-unquote TV studio, so it's very much that it's a very similar story. Like, one part of the couple gets drawn into that world. The other part is resistant / numb, whatever. Then we've got Famine of the Paradise, which is the Brian De Palma masterpiece.
Sure.
Which predates this one, I think.
Yeah, that was
70s,
late 70s. Yeah.
Which is just fucking watch Famine of the Paradise, please and thank you. You'll just trust me. It's wonderful.
Little tiny Paul Williams all over that movie.
Yes. But the one that I have chosen as my actual pick, now that I've gotten away with mentioning the other 2, is Ken Russell's Salome's Last Dance.
Ooh.
Unfamiliar.
So it is Oscar Wilde's Salome, which is being presented as a play within the movie. So Oscar Wilde's Salome is not being shown in, like, the playhouses and things like that because of, lascivious what have you. So he goes to visit his favorite boy's house, and they have dressed in drag to put on this showing of Salome. So everyone, it's exceptionally queer coded, telling of Salome requesting, like, falling in love with John the Baptist and him resisting her and her requesting his head, all while being lusted after by her stepfather. But it is this, like, so we've got this very queer environment, this biblical story, all of the, like, rich tones of a Ken Russell film. It is fucking bonkers.
You'd still have to show it first, though, right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what order I would show Salome's Last Dance and The Apple in. I think I might have to show The Apple second because, like, I think that there's more, like, to actually unpack with Salome's Last Dance. Like, there's more purposeful art to things. Like, it's definitely better directed. But it's insidious and decadent in other ways. But it's definitely, like, it's a lot.
Well, also, people are usually, like, imbibing. And by the second movie, attention spans reduce.
Yeah,
So-
no, I do think that, like, the Apple is more of a party movie. Like, The Apple, you either have to pay all of the attention to it and be like, what the fuck is going on? Or just let the music happen to you.
Honestly,
Just
you
let it
could
happen.
probably, and I haven't even tried this,
Don't
but
try to duck in.
No, I was thinking you could probably with the Apple kind of nod off or just cut out all the actual dramatic stuff in between the music and probably get the same story arc.
Oh, 100%.
By just watching the musical numbers.
Yeah, the only thing I'd be sad to cut out is the landlady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Just because it really throws you.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, I want to ask a follow-up question, just because I've decided to add in my own segment.
There you go.
I'm steering this ship now. Okay, so we've already decided that during your double feature, we're imbibing cocaine in copious amounts.
Truth.
I think in my double feature, for the Apple, I want to be imbibing vodka Red Bulls.
Okay.
Because I want... By the middle of the movie, I want you to be drunk and energized enough that you start BIM dancing with everyone else for the BIM exercise hour or whatever. And then for the other ones, I mean, wine is a clear choice.
Yeah, for passion.
And it'll bring you down really quickly, which I feel like is the mood because I'm going for like a depressing tone here.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you serve?
So I think I'm just going to focus on Salome's Last Dance. So I think that it has to having like a mixed drink that you make for the evening, I think is the way to go.
Drink.
Like a theme, like a decadent themed drink, something that you're holding in an odd shaped glass, like that your hand is caressed around it. Like I want to lean into that like hedonism
Love
of
it.
the moment.
I could definitely see
like a goblet or like an odd shaped martini glass, or I could get some triangle vases and just call them BIM glasses.
Love that.
I could see some kind of an absinthe cocktail.
Yeah, or something like
Something
melon
glowing
or apple
a weird
related
color.
Yeah.
You can make that for pandies. You could make your own pandies cocktail.
Right.
Just
Right,
without
something.
the roofies.
Yeah, no, I don't want to roofie my guests. I want
A
them
little,
to remember
little bit
all
of dry
it.
ice.
Oh, love it.
That's right. Something that will glow under the black light. I think
love
would
it.
be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something with like a lickable rim. I think something like that
love
would
that.
be
Hell yeah.
the way that I would go.
Pop rocks.
Yes. Oh
That'd
my
be
god.
so fun.
That would be anarchy.
You know-
Drink anarchy.
You know what? I got to change my answer because as much as cocaine
From
would be...
cocaine? Oh.
No, only because I want to tie...
No, you only get cocaine at
No,
Anthony's.
I want to tie it into
Grutz's
another
screenings.
fantastic movie that has musical numbers. So there's a character that looks like he looks like a cyborg businessman with a hat in Get Crazy, and he has this magic briefcase that has like 30 different colors of pills.
Yep.
And he's like the pill like cyborg.
Get Crazy would be another
Fucking
good pair.
awesome.
I've never even heard of that
I want that
movie.
guy to
Oh
show
my
up
God.
at the party and just be like, look here.
Okay, so you've changed your answer from cocaine to pills.
Pill roulette. Let's do it.
So you didn't. I
Love
thought
that.
you were actually going to pick a drink.
Nope. Nobody gets any drinks at Anthony's movie night. Not even water.
Just a heads up, gal. I'm not saying that's how Beautiful Disaster screenings go. You will not be required to take cocaine or pills.
We will not
Come
have
watch
any
Boys of the
illicit
Rock Aliens.
substances of any kind at our panel at GalaxyCon in Richmond on March 24th.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I will be forced sober still at that point, but I apologize for nothing.
I will be as sober as I can be for the panel, but it's going to be a good time regardless.
Yeah, no, it's,
We're going to have so much fun there. I guess we got to wrap this up with a bow here.
that's true. And just real quick, I would like to restate clearly, our GalaxyCon panels are happening on Friday the 24th at GalaxyCon Richmond Convention Center. You don't need any sort of special ticket to come to the showing. You just need your GalaxyCon entrance pass.
If you got a pass for the day or for the whole weekend, it's free. Come on in.
Yep.
Have a good time with us.
10 p.m.
I know there's a lot of stuff going on at the con, but we're going to be screening an awesome movie, and Voyage of the Rock Aliens is a blast.
Yeah, it's a really good time. And Amy, real quick, before we start doing our Beautiful Disaster socials, please tell us where they can find you on the interwebs. I know that Deeply Upsetting is on a little bit of a hiatus because life has
Yes.
been crazy.
Yes.
No shame.
It is going to come back. It's not permanently canceled or anything. Honestly, it's me. My life has like kind of gotten nuts in the last year or so. And
I
so
understand.
when I start to get it back under control, I should be like finishing grad school in the next couple months. That'll help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And so things should slow down and we should be bringing it back. But yes, I have a podcast on the Geeks Under the Influence Network with Mike the Hobbit called Deeply Upsetting. And it is just that. It's very upsetting improv comedy between the two of us where we answer the internet's most hypothetical, upsetting quandaries. See, I'm so out of practice, I don't even remember what the speech is.
It's a lot of
super
fun.
I like
fun.
that
There's
show.
episodes that you could listen to, in gearing up for us to come back eventually. So thanks for your
Don't
patience,
feel
everyone.
bad because this show's never taken any hiatus.
None.
We just passed our 5-year mark, like February of 2018. We did our first episode, and we're not quite to 100 yet in 5 years. So this is why I've called it a periodic podcast. We're doing better now, releasing more regularly, but
we're trying.
Keeping the listeners on their toes, I think, is what you're going for here.
We like the element of surprise, clearly.
indeed.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. What an absolute treat. I love
Yes.
A wild ride.
Please check out all the other great shows on the GUI Network. And
you can find them at GUIpodcast.com.
Correct.
And wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, all that jazz. Leave us a comment, rate, review, any, honestly, even just a star rating is really helpful just to help the podcasts get found. You can find the Beautiful Disasters in all of those same places. You can find us on Facebook at Beautiful Disasters Podcast, on Instagram at beautiful_disasters_podcast. Holy crap, is that a mouthful?
My
and
goodness.
we have an email as well.
That is correct. beautifuldisasterspodcast@gmail.com.
That's
Easy.
right. Shoot us some recommendations for films. Let us know if you did like an episode, didn't like an episode. Give us schlock abuse assignments as long as we can find them. If we can stream them, you never know if we'll do an episode on them. Grutz just said that he got 1,000-yard stare and just said, we can find them. While tracing the rim of his glass. It was the most assassin move I've ever seen him do.
Let's just say there is a very, very small list of things that I have not been able to find.
All right. Okay. No, I trust and believe in you. If there's one person I believe in to find shit, it's the guy I texted, hey, I just heard about a movie with dinosaurs and cannibals in it, and you immediately texted me back a picture of the cover.
That's amazing.
Even if I need to get a movie from the Czech Republic, it will happen. And I've done that before.
I appreciate you. So, find us on all those socials, and you can pick up GUI merch and Beautiful Disasters merch from TeePublic.
Yes, indeed. Check it out.
So,
Stuff for all the shows.
Yeah. And please come to my panel too.
Yes.
Yes.
GalaxyCon.
We will have all kinds of social media events and stuff set up for everything at GalaxyCon. And we want to thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on this ride with us. We appreciate your time and your love.
For
even your hate sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. For Beautiful Disasters, I have been the Grutz.
And I am Murphy.
Oh, and I'm Amy Bogard.
That's
Bye.
right. Stay beautiful, you disasters.
Thank you for listening.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
Two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
join Mike the Hobbit and Tandy as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world?
This is Smack My Pitch Up.
GUIpodcast.com.